First contact. The United Nations building stood quiet under the morning sun. Inside, world leaders from every country sat together, their faces showing worry and fear. Just 3 days ago, the massive alien ship had appeared over New York City. Now they had to make the biggest decision in human history. At the front of the room, General Sarah Chen stood straight and tall. Next to her, the alien diplomat named Zix-427 looked nervous. The alien's blue skin seemed even paler than usual as it watched the humans with all 4 of its eyes. Leaders of Earth, General Chen spoke clearly into the microphone. 3 days ago, we learned we are not alone in the universe. Today, we must decide if we join the Galactic Alliance in their war against the Devourers. The alien diplomat stepped forward. Its translator device hummed to life. My people have watched your world for many years, Zix-427 said. We saw how you survived terrible wars, deadly diseases, and natural disasters. But we never contacted you because, honestly, we were afraid. Whispers filled the room. The alien continued. You see, your planet's gravity is much stronger than most habitable worlds. This made your species incredibly strong. What you think is normal would be superhuman to most aliens. To prove this point, Zix-427 tried to lift a simple metal chair. Its thin arms shook with effort. Then General Chen picked up 3 chairs at once, making it look easy. The alien diplomat's eyes widened. Just yesterday, the alien said, I watched a human soldier break his arm during a training accident. Your doctors said he would heal completely in 6 weeks. For my species, such an injury would be permanent. The alien's voice shook. The Devourers are coming. They have destroyed 1,000 worlds. We need your strength. In the back of the room, Colonel James Martinez stood up. Show them the video, he called out. General Chen nodded and pressed a button. A large screen lowered from the ceiling. The video showed highlights from human military training. Soldiers running miles with heavy packs, Marines swimming through rough seas, fighter pilots pulling high-G maneuvers that would make most aliens pass out. With each new scene, the alien diplomats in the room looked more and more amazed. And now, General Chen said, let us show you our weapons. The screen showed tanks crushing cars, submarines diving deep underwater, and jets breaking the sound barrier. But what really made the aliens step back was the video of Olympic athletes. They watched in shock as humans ran faster, jumped higher, and lifted more weight than most aliens could imagine. One alien diplomat turned to another and whispered, their bodies can take so much punishment. No wonder they survived on such a harsh world. Then came the most impressive demonstration. A soldier walked in carrying a heavy metal bar. He handed it to one of the alien diplomats, who immediately dropped it to the floor. It made a loud bang. The soldier picked it up with one hand and bent it slightly. This is why we need you, Zix-427 said. The Devourers are strong, but they have never faced anything like humans. Your bodies are tough. Your minds are creative. You keep fighting even when hurt. The room fell quiet. General Chen looked at the world leaders. The choice is ours, she said. We can stay on Earth and wait for the Devourers to find us, or we can join the Galactic Alliance and help save the universe. One by one, the world leaders stood up. They had seen enough. Humans had spent thousands of years fighting each other. Now they had a chance to fight for something bigger. The vote was unanimous. Earth would join the war. As the alien diplomats excitedly talked among themselves, General Chen smiled. She knew something they didn't. If the aliens were amazed by basic human soldiers, wait until they saw their special forces. Wait until they saw what humans could really do when they worked together. The war against the Devourers was about to change. Humanity was joining the fight, and the galaxy would never be the same. Training for war. The alien training base on Mars's largest moon looked like something from a science fiction movie. Spaceships of different sizes and shapes filled the landing pads. But it was the sounds coming from the training grounds that caught everyone's attention. human laughter. Commander Jake Wilson watched as one of his soldiers, Private Sarah Martinez, did something that terrified their alien allies. She was jogging, with a 100-pound pack. In the low gravity, she was practically bouncing along, singing an old military cadence. "Impossible," shouted Crix, a tall insect-like alien instructor. All 6 of his arms waved in excitement. "She's been running for 2 hours. How is she not dead?" "Humans call it endurance running," Commander Wilson explained. "On Earth, our ancestors used to chase prey until it got tired and collapsed. We can run for hours." The alien instructor's mandibles clicked rapidly, their version of a shocked gasp. Nearby, other alien species stopped their exercises to watch the human soldiers train. In another area, Marine Corps Sergeant Lisa Chen was teaching alien soldiers about something they had never heard of: guerrilla warfare. Sometimes, she explained while setting up a simple trap, the smartest way to fight is to not fight at all. You set traps, you hide, you strike fast, and then you disappear. The alien soldiers looked confused. One of them, a jellyfish-like creature floating in a special suit, spoke through its translator. "But that is not honorable combat." Sergeant Chen smiled. "Honor doesn't matter when your enemy wants to eat your galaxy. Survival matters." Just then, alarms blared across the base. A huge screen lit up showing a Devourer scout ship approaching. It was sleek, black, and covered in what looked like teeth. The alien instructors panicked. "Evacuation protocols," Crix shouted. "We must." "No," Commander Wilson interrupted. "Let us handle this. Watch how humans fight." What happened next would be talked about across 3 galaxies. The human soldiers grabbed their weapons and split into small teams. Instead of facing the Devourer ship directly, they disappeared into the moon's rocky terrain. The Devourer ship landed, and out came 5 of the most terrifying creatures the galaxy had ever seen. They looked like walking nightmares. 12 feet tall, covered in black scales, with multiple rows of teeth. But they had never fought humans before. Private Martinez's team struck first. They used the low gravity to leap between rocks, drawing the Devourer's attention. Meanwhile, Sergeant Chen's team set up crossfire positions. "Now," Commander Wilson's voice crackled over the radio. The humans attacked from all sides. The Devourers were strong and fast, but they couldn't handle the humans' coordinated tactics. When one human got knocked down, they got right back up. When the Devourers tried to retreat, they found their ship's engines disabled by explosive charges. In less than 15 minutes, it was over. The Devourer scout team was captured, their ship was secured, and not a single human was seriously hurt. The alien instructors stared in complete shock. Crix approached Commander Wilson, all 6 arms trembling. We have fought the Devourers for 300 years. Never, not once, have we captured their soldiers alive." Commander Wilson shrugged. "On Earth, we have a saying. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog." The alien translator couldn't quite handle that phrase, but the meaning was clear. Humans weren't just strong. They were smart, creative, and absolutely refused to give up. Later that night, the alien commanders sent an urgent message to their high command. "Human training exceeding all expectations. They are teaching us things we never imagined. The Devourers should be afraid." In the medical bay, Private Martinez was getting a small cut bandaged while joking with her teammates. The alien medics watched in amazement as her body already started healing itself. "Tomorrow," she said with a grin, "we should show them how humans swim." The alien instructors looked at each other nervously. They had seen humans operate underwater during their research of Earth. If the Devourers were scared now, just wait until they saw what else humans could do. The war was about to get very interesting. First battle. The peaceful colony world of New Eden was known for its floating crystal cities and purple oceans. Today, it was known for something else: screams. 3 massive Devourer ships darkened the pink sky, their shadow bringing terror to the 10 million alien colonists below. But something was different this time. The Devourers had gotten used to easy victories. They didn't expect the sound that now echoed across the crystal cities, human war cries. All units, weapons free. Captain Maria Rodriguez's voice boomed through the communication system. She stood on the bridge of the Earth ship, Humanity's Hope, watching as her crew did something the aliens thought was crazy. They were flying directly at the Devourer ships. The alien commander, Zix 427, grabbed her arm. "Captain, this is madness. Their ships are 3 times our size." Maria smiled. "Size isn't everything. On Earth, we have honey badgers, tiny animals that fight lions. Guess who usually wins?" Before the alien could answer, Maria gave the order that would change space warfare forever. "Release the drop pods." From the belly of Humanity's Hope and 4 other Earth ships, hundreds of small metal pods shot out. Inside each one was something the Devourers had never faced: Space Marines. The Devourers, expecting the usual retreat and surrender, were completely surprised. The pods slammed into their ships' hulls, and out came humans in powered armor suits. What happened next would become legend. "Remember the training," Sergeant James Chen shouted as he cut through the Devourer ship's hull with a plasma torch. "They may be bigger, but we're meaner." Inside the Devourer ship, the aliens watched in horror as humans did things they thought impossible. When the artificial gravity failed, the humans adapted instantly, using their suits' magnetic boots to run on walls and ceilings. When toxic gas filled the corridors, the humans switched to sealed helmets and kept fighting. But what really terrified the Devourers was how humans fought together. They had never seen anything like it. Private Sarah Martinez demonstrated this when her team found themselves cornered by 8 Devourers. Instead of surrendering, she yelled, "Leapfrog!" It was an ancient human tactic. One soldier provides cover fire while another moves forward. Then they switch. The Devourers, used to fighting enemies who ran away, didn't know how to handle enemies who kept coming closer. Meanwhile, in space, Captain Rodriguez was showing why humans were different. When a Devourer ship tried to escape, she ordered something that made her alien crew members cover their eyes. She flew her ship straight through a debris field. "Impossible," screamed the alien navigator. "The calculations, the timing." "We don't calculate," Maria said, her hand steady on the controls. "We feel it, like sports, like dancing. The ship is just an extension of our body." The battle raged for 3 hours. By the end, all 3 Devourer ships were captured, the colony was saved, and the galaxy learned something new about humans. They didn't just fight wars, they changed how wars were fought. In the medical bay afterward, an alien doctor watched in amazement as human soldiers with broken bones and deep cuts joked and planned their next battle. "How?" the doctor asked. "How can you laugh after such violence?" Sergeant Chen, his arm in a cast, shrugged. "On Earth, we learned early that life goes on. Besides, you should see what we call extreme sports." This was nothing. The doctor's translator glitched trying to process that response. But the most important moment came later, when human intelligence officers decoded a Devourer message. Written in their strange language was a new order to all their forces: avoid human soldiers at all costs. They are not like the others. They do not break. They do not run. And worst of all, they enjoy the fight. Captain Rodriguez pinned the translated message to her wall. "They haven't seen anything yet," she said, looking at plans for something humans had been developing in secret: powered armor suits designed for underwater combat. The Devourers thought humans were terrifying on land and in space. Wait until they saw what humans could do in the depths of those alien oceans. The war was changing, and humanity was leading the charge into a new age of combat. The galaxy would never be the same, and the Devourers were about to learn why you should never, ever corner a species that invented parkour just for fun. The enemy's fear. Deep in the captured Devourer command ship, Human Intelligence Officer Dr. Emma Chen stared at the alien computer screens. After 3 weeks of decoding, she had finally cracked their communication system. What she found made her smile. "Get me Captain Rodriguez immediately," she said into her comm unit. "They're afraid of us." The Devourer messages told a fascinating story. Their soldiers were refusing orders to attack human-protected worlds. Some even requested transfers to other galaxies. The most interesting message was from a Devourer commander to their high command. "The humans are not like other prey. They smile when they fight. They keep attacking even when injured. Yesterday we watched one of them break free from a restraint that could hold 3 Crixians. They called it adrenaline. We do not understand these creatures, and what we do not understand, we fear." Captain Maria Rodriguez read the translations in the emergency meeting room. Around her sat alien commanders from 20 different species, all watching human training videos with a mixture of fear and admiration. "Look at this," Maria said, playing a video of human parkour athletes. "This is how some humans have fun on Earth. No weapons, no war, just running up walls and jumping between buildings." The alien commanders chittered and clicked in disbelief. "And this," she continued, showing footage of free divers swimming with sharks, "is what we do on vacation." An alien admiral raised all 4 of his hands. "You swim with predators. For entertainment." "Some of us do," Maria smiled. "Others jump out of perfectly good aircraft with parachutes. We call it skydiving." The translator devices actually sparked trying to process this information. But the meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. A Devourer fleet had been spotted near the Centauri colonies. However, something was different this time. "They're avoiding human ships," reported the sensor officer. "The Devourers are specifically targeting worlds where humans aren't stationed." Captain Rodriguez's smile grew wider. "Then we'll teach our alien friends to fight like humans." What happened next was unprecedented in galactic history. Human instructors began training alien soldiers in what they called the human way of war. In a massive training facility on Mars' moon, Sergeant James Chen taught alien soldiers how to use terrain to their advantage. "Your tentacles aren't a weakness," he told a group of octopus-like aliens. "They're perfect for guerrilla warfare. Think like a human. Use everything as a weapon." Private Sarah Martinez specialized in teaching psychological warfare. "Humans learned long ago that fear is a weapon," she explained to her alien students. "The Devourers fear us because we're unpredictable. So, let's make you unpredictable too." The results were amazing. A squad of jellyfish-like aliens, usually peaceful scientists, successfully defended their research station using human tactics. They turned their floating forms and natural bioluminescence into a terrifying light show, confusing and terrifying the Devourer raiders. In another sector, a group of tiny insectoid aliens, previously considered too weak for combat, used human-style swarm tactics to overwhelm a Devourer warship. They called themselves the Human Hornets after learning about Earth insects. But the biggest surprise came from studying recovered Devourer technology. Dr. Emma Chen made an incredible discovery in their historical records. "The Devourers aren't natural predators," she announced during an emergency briefing. "They were engineered as weapons by an ancient race. That's why they're so afraid of us. We're the first species they've met that evolved naturally to be warriors." Captain Rodriguez stood up. "Then it's time they learned what natural predators can really do. Show them the plans." The holographic display lit up, showing designs for something unprecedented, a fusion of human military technology with alien biology. The aliens gasped as they understood what they were seeing. "Yes," Maria said, "we're going to teach you how to make powered armor suited to your species. Imagine Crixian strength combined with human tactical thinking. Jellyfish aliens with built-in stealth systems, insectoid swarms with human weapons." In their fear of humanity, the Devourers had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't just awakened a powerful enemy, they had created an incredible teacher. Across the galaxy, alien races that had never fought back were learning to be warriors, guided by human instructors who turned each species' unique traits into weapons. The Devourers had feared humans for their strength and unpredictability. Now they would face an entire galaxy that fought like humans. In the training room, Sergeant Chen watched as a tiny alien lifted a massive weight using human-designed powered armor. "Remember," he said, "on Earth, we have a saying. It's not about being the biggest or strongest. It's about being the craziest one in the fight." The translator managed to handle that phrase perfectly. After all, the aliens were beginning to understand exactly what humans meant. The war was entering a new phase, and the Devourers were about to learn that their worst nightmare wasn't just fighting humans. It was fighting aliens who had learned to think like humans. The Great Push, the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history, filled the space around Jupiter. 10,000 ships from 100 alien species, all modified with human innovations. At the center was the new Earth flagship, humanity's last stand, though humans called it Plan A as a joke, because as Captain Rodriguez always said, humans never run out of plans. Inside the ship's main briefing room, Dr. Emma Chen revealed their secret weapon: music. The Devourers communicate through subsonic frequencies, she explained, pointing to complex wave patterns, which means they're extremely sensitive to certain sounds. And humans, we turn sound into art. Captain Rodriguez grinned as she understood. "You mean we're going to fight them with heavy metal and dubstep?" Emma nodded. "Their neural networks can't handle it." Who knew human teenagers' music taste would become a weapon of war? The alien commanders looked confused until a demonstration shook the room. A captured Devourer writhed in its containment field as AC/DC's Thunderstruck played at full volume. "This is why humans are terrifying," muttered one alien admiral. "They turned everything into a weapon, even their entertainment." The attack began with something the galaxy had never seen: a synchronized assault coordinated by human DJs. As Devourer fleets faced wall-of-sound attacks, the new combined forces struck. Jellyfish aliens, wearing human-designed stealth suits, infiltrated Devourer bases by hiding in plain sight, their natural bioluminescence modified to match Devourer ship lighting. The insectoid human hornets swarmed through ventilation systems, their tiny powered armor making them nearly invincible. But the real surprise came from the octopus-like Krakenites. Using human parkour techniques combined with their natural abilities, they turned Devourer ship corridors into three-dimensional battlegrounds. Videos of Krakenites running on walls while firing plasma weapons quickly became popular across the galaxy. Private Sarah Martinez led a unique unit called the Earth Special Environment Force. Humans trained to fight in every possible condition. When Devourer ships went dark and cold to hide, her team switched to thermal vision and kept fighting. When gravity went crazy, they treated it like a skate park. "Remember your training," she shouted as her team literally surfed on debris through a destroyed Devourer ship. "Just pretend it's like that water park in Texas." The Devourers were completely unprepared for enemies that treated combat like an extreme sport. Meanwhile, Sergeant Chen revealed another human innovation: weaponized cooking. Their sensor systems are based on smell, he explained while loading special grenades. "So we filled these with Earth's spiciest peppers. Ghost peppers, Carolina Reapers, things humans eat for fun." The result was chaos. Entire Devourer crews were incapacitated by what humans considered a tasty snack. But the biggest surprise came from Dr. Chen's research team. Deep in captured Devourer data, they found something shocking. Earth wasn't the first human world. "Look at this genetic data," she showed Captain Rodriguez. "The ancient race that created the Devourers. They were running from something that looks remarkably like us." The revelation hit hard. Humans might be descendants of an ancient spacefaring race that the Devourers were originally designed to fight. This wasn't just a war. It was history repeating itself. Captain Rodriguez took this news to the Combined Fleet's War Council. "We're not just fighting for the galaxy," she announced. "We're finishing what our ancestors started." The push continued. World after world was liberated. The devourers retreated faster than ever, but something felt wrong. They were falling back too easily, too organized. Then came the intercepted message that changed everything. Dr. Chen's face went pale as she decoded it. "The devourers," she said, her voice shaking. "They're not retreating. They're leading us somewhere. To something they call the cradle." On the main view screen, long-range sensors showed the devourer fleet regrouping around a mysterious structure deep in uncharted space. It was massive, ancient, and covered in symbols that looked disturbingly familiar to human eyes. "Those aren't devourer markings," Martins whispered, looking at the symbols. That's proto-human writing." Captain Rodriguez stared at the structure, a chill running down her spine. The devourers hadn't been running from the combined fleet. They had been drawing them to the birthplace of both species. "All ships, hold position," she ordered. "I think we just found out why the devourers are really afraid of us. We're not just their enemy. We might be their creators." The war had just become much more complicated. As the combined fleet hovered at the edge of known space, humans and aliens alike faced a shocking possibility. This wasn't just a fight for survival. It was a family reunion, millions of years in the making. And deep inside the ancient structure, something was waking up. Final invasion. The ancient structure known as the cradle floated in space like a massive DNA strand made of metal. As the combined fleet approached, ancient symbols pulsed with blue light, responding to the presence of human ships. Captain Maria Rodriguez stood on the bridge of humanity's last stand, watching as Dr. Emma Chen decoded more of the structure's markings. "It's incredible," Emma breathed. "These symbols, they're telling a story. The devourers weren't weapons. They were an experiment gone wrong. Our ancestors were trying to create perfect warriors, but something happened. The test subjects rebelled." Sergeant Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "That explains why they eat worlds. They're still following their original programming. Consume and adapt. They're trying to perfect themselves." The revelation changed everything. The devourers weren't just running from humans. They were drawn to us. Like moths to a flame, they were instinctively seeking their creators. But the biggest surprise came when Private Martins discovered something in the cradle's databanks. Earth wasn't humanity's original home. "We were refugees," she explained, her voice shaking. "When the devourers rebelled, our ancestors fled to Earth. They chose it because its harsh conditions would make their descendants stronger. Everything that makes humans special. Our endurance, our strength, our crazy ability to survive. It was all planned." Captain Rodriguez looked at the massive devourer fleet surrounding the cradle. "Then it's time to show them how well that plan worked." The attack began with something uniquely human, a flash mob. Hundreds of small ships performed what looked like a choreographed dance in space, confusing devourer targeting systems used to predictable attack patterns. "Remember what we learned about the devourer's weakness to human music," Emma said with a grin, activating a special broadcast. The sound of thousands of people singing "Never Gonna Give You Up" blasted across space. Did we just rickroll an alien army?" An alien commander asked in disbelief. "Welcome to human warfare," Rodriguez laughed. "When we're not terrifying, we're annoying." The battle that followed would be talked about for generations. Human-trained alien forces demonstrated why they were now the galaxy's worst nightmare. The Krakenites performed zero-gravity parkour between ships, their tentacles wielding both traditional weapons and improvised tools. One was recorded using a devourer's severed arm as a club while singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," a song taught by their human trainers. The jellyfish aliens turned their entire bodies into strobing light shows, creating disorienting patterns that scrambled devourer neural networks. They called it the Space Rave Offensive, inspired by human nightclubs. But the most incredible moment came when Sergeant Chen's team discovered something in the cradle's central chamber, a genetic laboratory. Inside were stasis pods containing original human DNA samples. "This is it," Emma said, examining the ancient technology. With this, we could theoretically shut down the Devourers. Their genetic code still responds to human commands. The Devourers seemed to realize this too. Their entire fleet converged on the cradle, fighting with desperate fury, but they had never faced anything like this combined force. Private Martinez led a team of mixed species in what she called Operation Space X Games. Using modified skateboards designed for zero gravity, they grinded along the cradle's massive structure, planting devices that would broadcast the shutdown signal. "This is either the coolest or dumbest thing we've ever done," she yelled, kickflipping over a Devourer's head while attaching a transmitter. Captain Rodriguez watched from the bridge as human ingenuity transformed the battle into something between a war and a performance art piece. The jellyfish aliens had synchronized their light show to the beat of "Another One Bites the Dust." The Krakenites were using Devourer ships like jungle gyms. Even the normally serious insectoid aliens had learned to taunt their enemies with human gestures. "We didn't just teach them to fight," she realized. "We taught them to have fun while fighting." As the shutdown signal began to pulse from the cradle, Dr. Chen made one final discovery. The original human civilization hadn't been destroyed by the Devourers. They had chosen to split their species into two parts. One would become the Devourers, engineered to be perfect warriors. The other would evolve naturally on Earth, developing the strength and creativity needed to one day reunite and balance their broken family. "We're not here to destroy them," Emma announced. "We're here to fix them. The shutdown signal isn't a weapon. It's a key. It's going to reactivate their original genetic programming." The Devourer ships suddenly stopped fighting. One by one, their crews began to transform. The monstrous features softened, the mindless aggression faded, and something new emerged. A bridge between human and Devourer. "Welcome home," Captain Rodriguez transmitted to the changed Devourers. "Both sides of the family are finally back together." But as the celebration began, a hidden chamber in the cradle's core started to power up. Ancient machinery hummed to life, and a message appeared in the original human language. "Phase 1 complete. Begin final evolution protocol." The war wasn't over. It was about to become something much bigger. The next step in human evolution, planned by ancestors who had played an impossibly long game. And in the depths of space, other cradles began to awaken. The last stand. The final evolution protocol wasn't just activating one cradle, it was awakening thousands across the galaxy. Each massive structure pulsed with the same ancient energy, creating a network of light that looked like a giant neural network in space. "It's beautiful," Dr. Emma Chen whispered, watching the holographic display. "Our ancestors didn't just plan for war, they planned for peace. The cradles aren't weapons. They're gyms," Private Martinez interrupted, examining the ancient data. "Training facilities. The whole galaxy is about to become one giant obstacle course." Captain Rodriguez smiled. "Of course. What's more human than turning the entire galaxy into an extreme sports venue?" But not all the transformed Devourers accepted their new reality. A faction of them, led by their former Supreme Commander, refused the change. They gathered their remaining forces for one final battle at the original cradle. What followed was the most uniquely human battle in galactic history. It began with the newly formed Family Reunion Task Force. Humans, transformed Devourers, and alien allies working together. Each brought their own style to the fight. The transformed Devourers, now calling themselves the Returners, demonstrated their perfect blend of human creativity and engineered power. They surfed solar winds on their own shed scales, using their genetic memory of human parkour to transform space itself into a playground. Sergeant Chen led what he called Operation Food Fight, using modified human cuisine as tactical weapons. The remaining hostile Devourers learned to fear the phrase "extra spicy." "Who knew my grandmother's hot sauce recipe would save the galaxy?" He laughed, launching containers of weaponized wasabi into enemy ships' ventilation systems. The alien allies brought their own human-inspired innovations. The jellyfish aliens had synchronized their bioluminescence to human dubstep, creating what they proudly called tactical rave warfare. The Krakenites performed zero-gravity ballet with plasma weapons, making combat look like a dance performance. But the real game-changer came when Dr. Chen decoded the cradle's true purpose. The final evolution protocol. She explained during the battle, "It's not about making us stronger. It's about making us whole." The cradles are gathering all the scattered pieces of humanity, Earth humans, devourers, maybe even other lost colonies, and giving us a choice. That choice became clear when the original cradle's core opened, revealing what looked like a massive video game interface. "Are those high scores?" Captain Rodriguez asked in disbelief. "Our ancestors knew us so well," Martinez laughed. "They turned evolution itself into a competition." The interface showed challenges for every species, tests of strength, skill, creativity, and cooperation. Each challenge completed would unlock new evolutionary potential, but only if species worked together. The hostile Devourer commander, watching his forces fall to what looked more like a galactic game show than a war, finally understood. "This isn't a battle," he transmitted. It's tryouts. "Welcome to humanity," Rodriguez replied, "where we turn everything into a sport, even ascension." The final battle transformed into something between an Olympic Games and a reality show. Species competed in teams, combining their unique abilities in ways the ancestors never imagined. Highlights included a Krakenite human parkour team breaking physics in ways that made Einstein roll in his grave, jellyfish aliens and returners creating light shows that doubled as tactical displays, the infamous hot sauce challenge that even the transformed devourers approached with caution, zero-gravity dance battles that somehow helped unlock genetic memory, competitive evolution becoming the galaxy's most popular sport. As the last hostile forces either surrendered or joined the games, the cradles activated their final protocol. The network of light between them intensified, creating paths of pure energy. "Space highways," Emma explained. "Our ancestors built a transportation network into the fabric of space itself, but it only works if all species cooperate to maintain it." Captain Rodriguez stood on her bridge, watching humans, former devourers, and aliens celebrate together. So that was their plan all along. They didn't want us to just survive. They wanted us to teach the galaxy how to live. The war ended not with surrender documents, but with tournament brackets and high-score tables. The galaxy transformed into something unprecedented, a place where competition meant growth, where challenges united rather than divided, and where humanity's greatest traits spread not through conquest, but through play. Epilogue. Years later, the Galactic Games became the most celebrated event in known space. Species that once feared each other now competed for the most creative ways to complete challenges. The cradles, once mysterious ancient structures, became combination gymnasiums, laboratories, and party venues. And somewhere, watching from dimensions beyond normal space, humanity's ancestors smiled. Their children had not only survived, they had taught the galaxy to dance. Private Martinez, now running an extreme sports academy on the original cradle, summed it up best. "Only humans would look at an ancient superweapon and think, hey, this would make a great theme park." The galaxy never knew peace and quiet again, but that's exactly how humans liked it.